everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Carolyn and this is my Flosstube channel, Carolyn Stitches, a channel about cross stitch and any other hobbies I may be working on. Today is Saturday, March 4th, 2023, and I am back with my February update, my monthly update. I'd like to say thank you to all my returning subscribers and welcome to all my new subscribers. Thank you for joining me. So, what's going on? I just got back from a trip to my local needlework shop, the Cross Stitch Cupboard in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I ran down there this morning. I have a lot of finishing over here to share with you, so I wanted to make sure I got that back to share with you because quite a lot of it is new starts and finishes that I did in February, and I wanted to show you. What else is going on? I'm excited about Market Day. I'm excited about Market Day at my LNS just to see all the good stuff they brought back. I know Karen, the owner of the Cross Stitch Cupboard, has mentioned they've picked up a lot of new fabrics, so I'm excited to see the fabrics they've gotten in. But as far as the patterns this year, I don't know about anybody else, but nothing really in the patterns this year has jumped out at me like, I gotta have it, I gotta have it, I gotta have it. I think there is two that I've asked my LNS to get for me. One was Silver Creek Samplers, the introvert one. I believe it says something like introvert, but I'll talk everything cross stitch with you. And another one was Luminous Fiber Arts, and it was a little stitcher one with a little bird stitching. So there wasn't, not too much was really jumping out at me this year, which is good for my wallet because heaven knows I have a ton to stitch here. What else is going on? I have my book in front of me, so I make sure I don't forget anything. Oh, I had my retreat. I went to my retreat February 9th through the 12th. Well, 9th through the 11th up in Ocala, Florida. It's the Bare Bones Retreat put on by Brick City Cross Stitch. It was a 3-day retreat. It's just at a hotel. You just bring your stitching and stitch. It was about 30 ladies. Met some new stitchers. I met a lady, Susan from Georgia, and a lady, Suzanne from Ocala. Hey, Suzanne. Suzanne was a blast. I had fun with Suzanne. I will tell you what, I would love to go play at Suzanne's house. We were talking, and she showed me her like app to track her cross stitch. She's got like 4,000 patterns and kits and a lot of good old stuff. And I was like, man, I want to come play at your house. So it's funny now how we want to go play at someone's house because we want to like go look in their stash and see what goodies they may have and stuff. So I had a really good time at that retreat. I got a lot of good stitching done. It was nice and relaxing to get away for a few days of all the hectic going ons at work. And of course, when I got back to work, it was just right back into the nonsense that's going on there. What else happening? I'm looking at my book. Oh, my husband and I celebrated our anniversary. 16 years with the old man. We had a good night out. We went out to a really nice dinner and then just enjoyed our evening out together and had a quiet weekend together. So that was nice to spend some time with him because that was kind of like our last weekend, and he went back to work this week. Yay! I'm so excited. He's back to work. I tell you, it does make a difference. I love him to death, but it does make a difference on my telework days where I can kind of get up and just have the quietness in the house and the quietness all day while I'm working. I think the cats really missed him because he was home with them for like 7 months straight, so I think the cats really missed him. But he's back at work. He's doing good, so hopefully everything will get back to normal here. Other personal news, my niece got engaged. Congratulations, sweetheart. Her boyfriend proposed to her at the beginning of February, and she accepted. And beautiful, her engagement ring. She didn't get an ordinary engagement ring. Beautiful engagement ring. It's a ruby that I think he went over into the Carolinas and like mined for it, and then had it made into a ring for her. So she has a beautiful ruby engagement ring. And also congratulations to her. She just moved into her first house. Congratulations, kid. She's doing so good. And my youngest niece, she's working good. And my nephew, they're all doing good. All the family's doing good. So I know my mom's watching this. Hello, Mom. Yes, I did make a video finally, so you can see everything I'm doing. I think my mom lives for my videos. Don't you, Mom? I know you and Dad are watching. Okay, let's see. I have my book, so I can keep track of what to tell you I've been working on. I haven't watched much Flosstube. I didn't watch a lot of Flosstube. I watched my regulars. My regulars are like Sunshine Stitchers, Vicky the Virginia Stitcher if she puts one out, Heidi the Stitching Fae. It's regulars I watch. Alicia, the Fanciful Flamingo, my local friend who I stitch with. Jess, Sweetwater Stitcher, Jody, Simply Stitching Ocala. So I kind of watch my regulars and ones that are my friends. I watch theirs on a regular basis. You know, my friend, everyone's like my friends out there in the stitching world, but these are like friends I've stitched with in person and, you know, spent time with. And so I like to watch their videos and catch up on them because we don't all live close together. Some of the ladies live different parts of the state, so we don't always get to see each other. So that's how I get to keep in touch with them. So at the beginning of the month, I spun my whip wheel, and my whip wheel landed on an old whip. I don't have the cover sheet with me. It's called Simplicity, I believe. Let me look at my book, and I can probably tell you who it was by. Of course, I probably didn't write it down. Did I not write it down? I will find it. Simplicity by Liberty Street Designs. And it was stitched on the fabric that it came with, using some silks that it came with. So it was a whip that I had. I spun my whip wheel, and honestly, the only thing that needed to be done was some back stitching around all the flowers. But once I did a part of it, you couldn't see it. So what was the point of doing all this back stitching? And then it needed a bunch of beading, some Krynic stitching, a bunch of Krynic, a couple beads, and a couple treasures. And I finished it, and then I brought it down to the cupboard and had it fully finished. So this is Simplicity by Liberty Street Designs. And I picked out this flashy little gold frame. I love this little gold frame with it. The fabric came with it in a kit, painted already with the heart on it. And it has silk flosses and little treasures, and all these little things in the back are Krynic. So I had it, this is what I just picked up at the cupboard. So cute. I may have said it in my last video, but I don't think I'm going to do much winter stitching like snowmen and stuff, because I am in South Florida. It's hot. I mean, today is going to be 90 degrees and it's March 4th and we're going to be like 90 degrees today. So winter is not really a thing down here. So I'm not planning on doing winter stitching. However, I love Valentine. I'm loving the Valentine stitching with the hearts and the pinks and the reds, and I love the color red. Blue glasses, but I love blue hair, blue nails, but I love the color red. So I'm going to do a lot of more Valentine stitching. I really enjoy the Valentine stitching, and you'll see that here on my stitching I've done. But I pulled this out as a whip, and it just needed some finishing, so I took care of that, and then I dropped it down off the cupboard and had it fully finished. So this one, they did a dowel finish for me. I mean, they have it where I can hang it, but they also, this dowel will go in this hole, so it'll help it where it can just stand up on like a table for finishing. So I love that. That's so cute. And then, oh, also at the beginning of the year, I finished the 2023 color. Is it the 2023 or 2022? Whatever, the most recent collector's heart that came out from Heart and Hand. 2023 collector's heart from Heart and Hand. And this came with, it was a kit. It came with the fabric, and it came with a skein of Cottage Garden Threads red floss. I don't think it was leather bound or something, and a button. And I finished that, and that was beautiful. I took that also down to the cupboard and had it finished. I love that thread. So I finished this one at the beginning of the month also, and had it finished at the cupboard. That thread, that floss is gorgeous. It was so nice to work with. So what did I do? I signed up for a floss of the month. With, I think Rebel Stitcher had an opening in a Cottage Garden Threads floss of the month. So I signed up for that. I'll do that for a while to get some Cottage Garden floss, because they are just beautiful. It was lovely to work with. And same thing, I had this finished where you can hang it, or the little dowel goes in the hole and it can set up on its own. So I love that. Okay, so then I spun my wheel of whips again, because if I spun my wheel and I got one whip and I finished it up in one evening, I spun the wheel and I started another whip. And sorry, these are not ironed. I just quickly grabbed everything. So the next whip that came up was Sampler Through the Stones by April Koning. You can get the pattern off of Etsy, and I will insert a picture here of what it looks like. And I'm stitching this on, I believe, a 32 count Moonglow linen. And I had, let's see here, I had this part done when I picked it up. So I basically did more of the border and came down and did some letters, got the snake in, their name, this little dragonfly, which is a lot of backstitch in it. So I worked on all of this. And I worked on that for, I gave it like 5 days before. I worked on it for like 5 days before I left for the retreat at the beginning of the month. So it got some love. It's a little wrinkly, but it got some love. So that's Sampler Through the Stones. Okay, what else did I do? So I got to put everything back as I go. Oh, I did also, I worked on my, I'm not doing these like finishes, fully finishes, whips. I'm doing them as I worked on them in the month. So that's, I'm following my book, keeps it in my noggin that I won't miss anything. So I'm following my book. So the next one I worked on is the Jardon Prive, I don't know, monthly one. And each month I'm doing one of the little squares. So I worked on the February one, and I'm stitching this on a 28 count casual linen sand by Picture This Plus. And I got the February one done. So the goal of this one is to do one of these a month, and by the end of the month I'll have it done. So there's February. Sorry, it's wrinkly. There's February done. So sometime this weekend I'll get into plans. I'll do March. What I like about March is it's not a leprechaun. It's just like a little flower, so it's kind of nice. It's not like in your face leprechaun-y or anything. It's a little flower and a little bird. So that's a nice change. Okay, what else? You probably recall in a prior video I had a whip Reindeer ABCs, and it was a stash thing I got from Cross Stitch Cupboard for like $5. It was a kit, fabric floss pattern. It was a previous stitcher stash. You just see she had a little tiny start on it. I ripped out the few stitches she had and restarted it. But it's Reindeer ABCs. That's it, by JBW Designs. And I worked on it the first night I got up into retreat. It was a Wednesday night. I came in early. I tried to go by Brick City, and I stitched for a little bit at Brick City and then went to the hotel and stitched in the hotel. And then I finished this on the first day of retreat. Took it down to the cupboard. Mary and her lovely finishing skills made it into a drum for me. And I don't know why I thought it was going to be like this little drum. It's a big drum. My head by comparison. It's a big drum. But I love it. So it is Reindeer ABCs, and it's finished. Made into this beautiful drum. I finished that up at retreat. It's just using called for flosses. It's on, I don't know, like a 28 count, 32 count Lugana, something like that is what it was ever was in the kit from the lady, but it got finished into a drum. Very pretty drum. And I really do love it. So it's just, It's big. And it's heavy. So maybe if the hubby makes me mad, I'll just like throw it at him. No, I wouldn't do that to him. So that was another finish and fully finished within the month. Let's see here. And then on the Friday at retreat, I started a little start by Heart and Hand called Always You. And I stitched it on a piece of Earth and Sky linen, 28 count linen, Earth and Sky by Mountain Air Fabrics. So that's the pattern. And I finished it and I stitched it in one day at retreat. I mean, sorry, my hair is like messed up. Finish it in one day at retreat, you're sitting there for like 10 hours or more stitching. So I got it finished in one day. And then of course, I think I started something else that night. So anyway, this is it. It was Always You. I have my initials and my husband's initials. And I kind of wanted to, and then I had the cross stitch cupboard frame it in this simple black frame. I wanted to give this to my husband in time for our anniversary last weekend, but wasn't ready till this weekend. So his birthday is next weekend, and I'll give it to him then. And once again, it's just, you can either hang it or the little dowel thing that'll go in the hole so it can stand up and be displayed on its own. So it's got a couple beads, not many. Our initials. Very cute. I really like this one. So start and finish in a day, and then I had the cupboard finish it for me. Okay, what else? Oh, I had two starts while I was up at retreat. I started a la-di-da pattern called Live, Laugh, Love by la-di-da. And I'm stitching it on a piece of 32 count Lugana Peaches and Cream by Atomic Ranch. And I did, it called for 3 colors of Gloriana silk. And I did a thread conversion for it. And I'm using 3 different classic color works. Black Coffee, Shamrock, and Cupid. And I'll show that to you in a second. So this is as far as I got. And these are the flosses. So Shamrock, Black Coffee, and Cupid. And that is, what was it called again? Live, Laugh, Love by la-di-da. So I got a little start on it up at retreat. We'll start. And then the same day, I decided I want to start some more stuff. And I started this I and You and Friends Primitive Heart. And I did my own floss substitutions. I stitched it on a piece of Cherub. I'm trying to see if it's a linen. Yeah, it's a linen. Piece of Cherub. I want to say 32 count Cherub, which I think is Picture This Plus. And I did floss substitutions. If you message me below and you want to know the floss substitutions, I do know the heart I did as a DMC variegation, one of the DMC variegated colors. But if you message me and you really want to know, I'll let you know. But it was I and You and Friends Primitive Heart. I didn't put the buttons on it like it shows in the picture. I was kind of looking for them, but I didn't. So I started this at retreat. And then when I got back from retreat, I kept working on it, and it took me about a week working on it after work and stuff to finish it. So here it is. And I had the cupboard finish it in this little gold frame. So it has the alphabet. And then there's that heart. And what I did with the heart, it was a variegated floss, and I cut my lengths of floss 2/2. Most of my stuff stitched 2/2. 2/2, and I did one stitch at a time, and I went around and around in a circle kind of thing to just give it a little more, I don't know, interest. And then in the middle here, there's like Smyrnas or something going down diagonal. But then I had to start trying to control the lengths of floss, because when I cut off a length of floss, it may have had a lot of variegation where it was like half pink and half red. And then the next length was like all red, and then the next length would be like half red, half pink. So I really had to control the lengths of color as I was adding it, because I would get like too much red next to each other or too much pink or something. So I was trying to control the lengths of floss as I was adding it. But I just did 1 X at a time, and I worked just around the perimeter of the heart just to give it a little more interest. And then it has the alphabet, and I put the year we were married. 2007 was the year we were married, so I put that year on it. But there it is on that cherub fabric. So it's kind of fun sometimes as you take one of these old patterns that were published. Oh gosh, what is the year of this thing? Let's see what year this was published. I don't even know if it'll say. No, it doesn't. Oh, 1997 is the copyright on this. 1997. And so, goodness, almost 20 years later. Is it 20 years? I can't do my math. 2007, almost 30 years later. Updating it from looking kind of primitive in a way, and just brighten up the colors with brightening up fabric and colors. Just updating it a little. So you can, some of these old patterns, they're great old patterns. Just change out some of the colors of floss, change out the fabric it stitches on. It's still a great pattern. So there's that one. What else? Okay, so while I was up at Brick City Cross Stitch for the retreat, of course you have to go shopping. And I went shopping and I picked out a pattern, and I had picked out another pattern that I first looked at and I really liked, and I bought that on the first day. And then I went back, of course, because you have to go back. I picked out this other pattern, and I really was going to start the other pattern first, but then this one just spoke to me, and I started this one first. So let me see if I can tell what fabric I got for it. It is on a piece of 32 count linen creek bed brown by R&R Reproduction Fabrics. And the pattern is Rosewood Manor Crosshaven Sampler. And I just love the colors. And down here, it's very hard to see, but there are two birds. I don't know what kind they are, egrets or something. But to me, this felt in a way, to me, very kind of Florida-y, with like the birds. I'm calling it a swamp or a pond. The birds at the pond, but you live in Florida, it's a swamp. So the birds at the pond, and then just the colors. This lettering is not black. It is $37.99, so it's that like really deep brown black. It's really pretty. So I just had to start this. And I started it and focused on it, and I got one page done and started another page. So this isn't crooked. This is just the tension on my Q-snap. But I got one page done here, and then I started into the second page. And I'll probably put this away for a little while, because this is just a little bit of torture, and there's a lot of that. There's quite a bit of that to do, that border. So that was my start on Crosshaven Sampler by Rosewood Manor, 32 count creek bed brown. R&R Reproductions, called for DMC, 2/2, 2 flosses over 2 stitches. So the one thing you need to watch out for if you do this pattern is on the floss list here, it says to use DMC 153. No, I did that, and it's a purple. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Where's the purple in there? But when you read the legend, it's 163, which is a green. It's 163, the green. So I had to make a special trip to the store because of course I got to that section down here where I needed the color. So I had to make a special trip to the store to get the floss. And I was really good that day. I walked in and bought 1 skein of floss and walked out. I was so proud of myself. Okay, so that's Crosshaven Sampler. And let's see here. Okay, we're getting near the end of the month and wrapping it up, and it was time for Whipko. I had not worked on my February Whipko calls, and the February Whipko calls were number 7 and 11, which for me, here's my Whipko board, 7 and 11 was Happy Halloween and Snail. I had finished the Whipko calls for January, so I had those filled in on the board, but I had not worked on the February ones yet by the end of February, which was Snail, a Mill Hill Kit Snail, and a Mill Hill Kit Happy Halloween. So I spent one Sunday and I just worked on Snail. This little Snail Mill Hill Kit. And put something behind it. There it is. My little Snail Mill Hill Kit. All beaded, stitched, everything on its perforated paper. It did call for like back stitching around the mouth, but I kind of like his little expression without the back stitching around the mouth. So I got one of my Whipkos finished for the month of February. I need to fully finish it, but at least it's stitched. And then my other Whipko for the month of February was a Mill Hill Kit, a Buttons and Beads Kit, Happy Halloween. And I have been working on that for this past week, and I'm bound and determined to finish it. So there's Happy Halloween. I am almost done with the stitching. I have to finish doing the border around the edge. Some of this green border that looks checked that has to go around the edge. So, and then some back stitching of all the spider webs. You can see it has spider webs that have to be back stitched in. So I need to finish the stitching and then do all the beading. So today, husband is out working on his, helping a buddy work on his car, his race car. And then he's gonna come home and he's going to a car show tonight that he said I don't have to go with him. So I was like, thank you so much. I'm not going to a car show that you're gonna be getting home late at. So he's gonna be at a car show tonight, and I plan on catching up on some of my shows, which I think I have Mayfair Witches to catch up on, and of course my Dateline episodes, that Alex Murtaugh murder trial. I gotta catch up on some of that. So I'll be catching up on my shows, and hopefully I'll get the stitching done and I can start beading tonight. There's a lot of beads. It has 3 little baggies of beads. So I need to get working on that tonight. Okay. What else? What else? What else? I do have one more. I feel like I'm all over the place, but if I don't follow my book, I will forget to tell you something. I have one more fully finished object. You probably have seen it sitting over here off to the side. So much for hiding it, right? It's been sitting over here off to the side. I started this as a stitch along with Maggie Kitschy Whips and Nadine nymphsal, and it is the Day Nymph and the Night Nymph by Mirabilia or Nora Corbett, one of the two, Mirabilia, Nora Corbett, Day Nymph and Night Nymph. And we started it as a stitch along, and I have mine finished. I think Nadine has hers finished, and Maggie is just getting to the beading on hers. She changed the hair on her Day Nymph, and Maggie is just getting to the beading. So I'm looking forward to seeing Maggie's finished with the beading, but I finished mine last month. Took it down to the cupboard to have it framed, and I got it back. So here is Day Nymph on 32 count Hestia linen under the sea fabrics. It's using the Valdani floss that came with the embellishment pack, and then it's pretty much all called for. Like 1 DMC a couple Krynics, and the Valdani that came in the embellishment pack. I will tell you this, and I know Maggie is having the same problem, and I think Nadine's having the same problem too. The Valdani floss that came with this is a pain in the rear to stitch with. It shreds like crazy, and the dark color here, I forget the name of it, black walnut or something, that one really shreds like crazy. And it's not, I tried a larger needle to try to open up the hole of the fabric. I switch needles most of the time, so it's like your tail of your floss just starts shredding. Sometimes the thread just shreds apart and breaks. The thread through the eye, where it goes through the eye, that'll start shredding. Larger needle, different needles, it was just a bear to work with. But it's done, and I love it. And I have Night Nymph to start. And I'm going to start that with Maggie when she's ready. I thought it would be this weekend, but I'm kind of waiting to see when Maggie gets her day nymph fully beaded. And then I will start Night Nymph in solidarity with Maggie. So together we can support each other with the floss that likes to shred and rip apart, because the Night Nymph uses the same Valdani flosses. I'm ready for it, Maggie, when you are. So this is my day nymph, and I love her. She's so pretty. This jewel up here is just amazing. And the cupboard did such a fabulous job on framing this. This bad boy is in here tight. Tight, tight, tight. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So, what are my plans? Let's do plans before I get into the haul. I have some haul. I'm only going to show you a little bit of it. There was some floss of the month things that came in, and a couple pieces of fabric. I got a few fabrics, but I just have two things I really want to share with you that I got. So plans for March. Let me go to March on my calendar. What do I got going on? It's my hubby's birthday next week, so I get to see what he wants to do. But it's also market day at the Cross Stitch Cupboard. So while I said there's not a lot of patterns, I'm still going to go down to market because they're bringing back a lot of fabrics, and I want to see what they're going to do. And then the Whipko numbers that were called were numbers 2 and 22. And on my book, it's a little gray hair, which is a Lizzie Kate kit, and 22 is Tulip Egg, which is a Mill Hill kit. So I'll show those to you. A little gray hair is a Lizzie Kate kit, and it came with a piece of linen, the floss, and the finishing stuff. So I will, I'll work on this month. This should be a fairly quick stitch. And then the other one is Tulip Egg, and this one is a little Mill Hill kit, and it's all beads. It's completely beaded. I've done one of these before, and it's a lot of fun. Oop, I'm dropping my beads. It's got lots and lots of beads, and you just get white floss for your beading and your piece of perforated paper, and it's so easy. You can stitch in a row and you pick up a bead. Whatever bead is next, you pick that up. So it's not like you have to jump around and count and go around. You can just go row by row, back and forth like a typewriter, and finish these up pretty quick with the beading. So those are my two Whipkos for the month of March to work on. So work on those. Oh, I had a giveaway last week. Hold on one second. Let me go get it. Okay, sorry for that. I'm back. And my giveaway last month was a Glendon Place limited edition kit called Butterfly Bliss. And it comes with the Ada, a piece of pink Ada, the Sullivan's floss, and some beads. And I did see that Glendon Place is re-releasing this at market this year. So this was my giveaway. in February, and the word you had to use in the comments was butterfly. And the winner is Jacqueline Boyd. I'll insert it here. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. If you can send me an email at carolynstitchesflosstube@gmail.com. I think that's what it is. It's in the box below. Or reach out to me on Instagram. Actually, I think I have your address, so I may just drop this in the mail to you. But the winner is Jacqueline Boyd. Congratulations. I will get that in the mail to you. Okay. Haul. The hauls I wanted to share with you. Sorry, my cat is like, the little girl cat is getting playful running around, my little calico, which I love to see her play and fromp and run around. So this is the first Rosewood Manor pattern I picked up when I was at Brick City, and that this is the one it started with, but then I actually started Crosshaven Sampler first. So this one is Alsmore Cottage, and it's got beautiful blues and greens. Pretty Alsmore Cottage by Rosewood Manor. And I got a piece of 36 count vintage country mocha to stitch it on. And I wasn't at first going to start it right away, but then I was like, okay, I am. Well, I'm not starting it all the way right away, but I ordered the flosses. I wasn't going to order the floss for it. At first I was going to do DMC, but the flosses were so pretty. I ordered the called for flosses, and I'm just getting them together here for you because there are some flosses that you need more than one of the color, and I just want to make sure that I am showing you all the pretty flosses. One second, bear with me, talk amongst yourselves while I get this together. Okay, so here are the flosses, the Weeks Dye Work flosses. Very pretty. That's coming through. Some sea foam greens, some blues, a little pink. So it's Alsmore. So I have it upside down. Alsmore Cottage. So I don't know when I'm going to start that, but I wanted to get the flosses because I looked at some of the DMCs and it just didn't look like it was going to do it justice. It was so pretty. So pretty. And the other pattern, I picked up, I saw this down at the Cross Stitch cupboard as a shop model. And it is the Rabbit Alphabet by JBW. That's what it looks like. And they had it done, I forget what they had it stitched on. I think I want to say they had it on I don't know, blue fabric or something, white fabric, but it was really pretty. So I decided to get this piece of 35 count Floba. I have no idea what that means, but it's like this beautiful light pale blue green color, and I picked Soie de Jais, I don't know how you say it, silk, in this beautiful beautiful color to stitch it. So I think that'll be really pretty and soft for Easter, without it being like in your face Easter, because it's just the bunnies. It's bunnies, so it can be Easter, it can be spring, and that's the fabric and floss I got, the silk. I think that'll be very pretty to stitch. Okay, let me see. That's all. That's everything. My plans are to work on my Happy Halloween Mill Hill. Sorry, I'm putting stuff away as I talk to you. My Happy Halloween Mill Hill. I want to get that finished. I'm hoping for the next couple days I'll get that finished. I want to work on the March version of my Jardon Prive project. Do my Whipkos that were called the little Lizzie Kate one and the tulip egg that shouldn't take long to do. And I spun my wheel, and my wheel landed on my whip wheel. So I have a whip wheel I'm doing where once a month I'm spinning my whip wheel, and whatever whip it lands on, that's the whip I'm going to show some love for at least a week. And if I'm really feeling it, I'll give it more than a week. If I'm not feeling it after the week, I'll put it aside and I'll work on another whip or start something else. So my whip wheel was spun and it landed on Let's Talk Spring by Hands On Design. So I will pull that out and work on that, and then we'll see what else what else I work on. I did take a week vacation at the end of this month. I took the last week of the month off. So I'm hoping to relax, unwind. Sorry, I hear my cat into something. Relax, unwind, and try to get some stitching in, and maybe, hopefully, I might be able to, get some sewing in or get some fully finishes on stuff, because I know I have those stockings I want to fully finish. Those Annie B's Folk Art 12 Days of Christmas stockings. I really want to get those finished. I don't know why I'm such a rush to getting finished in time for Christmas. It's not like I put up my big Christmas tree, but we do put up the little one, and the cat did do really good with it this year, so hopefully that'll be good for next year. But that is all. I hope everyone had a good February. I wish everyone a wonderful March. Be safe, have lots of fun stitching, spend time with family and friends, and hopefully relax and enjoy our hobby. Try to join some Zoom calls, stitchy Zoom calls. I know I do have a stitchy Zoom call, not next weekend, with my StitchCon friends that I made at StitchCon last year. So I'm looking forward to meeting up with the ladies and Zooming with them, and then getting some stitching done. So until I see you next time at the end of March, when I'm on vacation, I should make a video then. I see you next time. Enjoy your stitching. Take care, everyone.